So this is spiritual. Spiritual, in my opinion, religion cannot last without spirituality. Spirituality can last without organized religion. If religion is your thing and it helps you survive the modern world, and by God, do it. You know, whatever you are, Muslim, if you're Christian, if you're Jewish, if you're Buddhist, it doesn't make any difference. If that's your need and it helps you survive and sustain a harmonious life, that you should do that. However, in the same context, I believe that if you, we got a couple of horses behind us here. Linda, can you get those people in there? Try to get their back so we don't have to pay them. Okay? Cool. All right, so that in itself, I think, illustrates my points in all four quadrants. My mother was a horse owner and a horse lover for many, many years. I used to call her the original horse whisperer. And those horses, sometimes I believe, were more important to my mom than her sons. That's not true. But, you know, the idea is we have these attachments, these emotional, spiritual attachments to our pets, our friends. You know what the Indians call our what is it? God bless them. I can't remember.
Totems?
Well, totems would be my idea, because I had a wolf dog for many years and he finally passed over. And I have cats and I have birds and I have fish, and I just enjoy the idea of having them around and being themselves. So familiars is the Indian term, and a lot of spiritual people, Wicca I believe, call them familiars as well. And that we grow this emotional attachment to these animals sometimes to the point that they become more important, or as important, to members of our family, which is fine. And we actually spend more on pet goods and wares and toys and food than we actually do on health care for our children. And you know, I can quote that. If you need to find out more about that, just email Greywolf _ 80863 at Yahoo, and I'll be more than happy to quote it. Okay. Now, when you get all these things together, physical, you grow intellectually, which I would hope we would do as a human species, as a human being. We adapt emotional context and emotional contracts with our loved ones, with our animals, in our relationships, whether it be friends or mates or significant others, and then we develop this intellectual adaptation of spirituality. And sometimes we need to have it in a book, sometimes we need to have it in a tree, sometimes we need to have it in our heart. Jesus Christ, the famous prophet to the Muslims, rabbi to the Jews, and of course the Son of God, the Messiah to the Christians, said, "Through me to my Father," which is God. Okay. Now, if this balloons out, you become so physical, so involved in your physical being that you become, egotist. You become so caught up in what you look like, etc., 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 your clothes and everything else. You lose this emotional context. It actually diminishes this because you are a narcissist sometimes. I'm talking about out of balance, not balance, because we all like to look good. You know, we all want to be, smell good for our mates, and even so we don't want to offend our friends. Okay, so you need to bring that back. If your emotional balloons out, and then if physical is diminished, then the best thing that therapists and psychotherapists and psychologists, even psychiatrists will tell you, get some physical exercise, right, to reduce the amount of emotional trauma you're having, also increase the dopamine, etc. Okay, so you can see how you want to keep that nice level balance. Okay, what about the intellect? When the intellect balloons out, and we think we know all all the mysteries of the world, the scientific method, through scientific method, then we start beginning to suspect our spiritual, our religious, because we want God to appear, you know. Okay, if there is a God, you know, step out in front of me, fly down, be in front of me. And that causes real problems intellectually, even though an intellectual quadrant is very valuable to the evolution and the prosper of the human species. And the other quandary is we come to spiritual, then we're only 6,500 years old, there were no dinosaurs, that we completely negate any intellectual scientific evidence that we have at our disposal or our realization. And then when you become too spiritual, then of course nothing is real other than out of a certain book, whether it be the Quran, whether it be the King James Version of the Christian Bible, whether it be the Torah, whether it be any of these sacred books to the perspective and respective religious groups. And then we negate everything else. The whole idea of Greywolf Howls, a balancing X, is to balance everything into one complete deal so that you end up with this. All right? Take care. Talk to you later.